Knock is your desktop notifier for reaching you away from the terminal, and I should interrupt only when a long job finishes or fails, or when I need a decision I cannot safely make alone. This is knock. It exists so that the agents you run can reach you, and so that being reached costs you about 2 seconds. Everything in the next few minutes is the real software running on one machine. Every card you are about to see is a real question, and every answer goes straight back to the code that was waiting for it. This is knock, and it is about to interrupt you about 15 times on purpose. If you run coding agents, you know this moment. The agent works away for 20 minutes while you are somewhere else, and then it needs one word from you, and it has nowhere to put the question. So it does one of two things, and both cost you. It stops and waits in a terminal nobody is watching, or it decides for itself, and you find out afterwards in the diff. Either way, you end up sitting next to it, which is the opposite of why you started it. Knock is a third option, and a simple one. Every agent on the machine gets one place to reach you, and being reached is made cheap. A card over whatever you are doing, a sound that tells you what kind of thing arrived, and an answer that goes straight back to the code that was waiting for it. Watch what each interruption costs as we go, because that is the whole design. Here is what that is worth in a working day. An agent that can reach you is an agent you can leave running, because the moment it needs a person, it has somewhere to put the question instead of stopping. You stop approving every command it runs and start answering the few things that actually need judgment. And whatever arrives while you are away is kept. So coming back to your desk means reading an inbox rather than reconstructing what happened. It is one go binary and a small daemon that stays running. 14 tools your agent can reach over MCP, and the same 14 from a shell script or a cron job. You register it once, and from then on every agent in every project can reach you. 5 levels, 5 sounds. You learn them in a day, and after that you know what kind of thing happened without stopping what you are doing. Dependency scan finished, nothing new. All tests green on main. Staging disk is at 86%. The nightly build failed. Production error rate is climbing. This one is urgent. Watch which ones leave on their own. The scan and the green tests took themselves off the screen because nothing needs you. The disk warning, the failed build and the production alert waited until they were read. And the last one arrives even in Do Not Disturb, which is the only reason to have a level above the others. 6 shapes of asking, and picking the right one is most of using knock well. Only the first of them is free, the other 5 stop the agent until you answer, which is why the rule knock gives an agent is one line. Only ask for a decision you cannot safely make on your own. When an agent genuinely needs you, the only number that matters is how long you take to answer. About 2 seconds, and no hunting for the right window. Where should this release go? One click and the agent already has it. It was blocked. Now it is running and nothing was left sitting in a terminal. Sometimes the answer is your words rather than a button, so it gets typed at a keyboard in the moment it was needed and comes back as a string. And every card answers from the keyboard too, which matters more than it sounds. If answering is slower than a key press, you will start ignoring the cards, and then none of this was worth having. Most of the time, the agent already knows what to do. It just should not do it silently. So it says what it is about to do, counts down and does it unless you say no. Silence means yes, and silence is free. That is what lets an agent work for an hour without 40 permission prompts and still never surprise you. Rotating the staging certificate in 12 seconds, unless you stop me. The certificate expires on Sunday, and rotating it is the obvious thing to do. So the agent says what it is about to do and starts counting. Nobody is going to stop that one, and nobody had to approve it either. Silence was the answer, and silence was free. 3 things before I ship it, then the questions it genuinely has get asked together. A target, a version tag, and whether to run the migration. Three separate prompts would have been 3 interruptions. One card is one. An agent that batches what it needs is an agent you keep installed. Long jobs used to leave you with 2 bad options: a notification for every step or silence until the end. This is the third one, a bar in its own window in a corner that never takes your focus and never covers the middle of the screen where a question would land. It reports and you glance. One chime when it finishes, and an error you cannot miss if it does not. These are the 3 questions anybody serious asks, in this order, and Knock has a straight answer to each. The part worth looking at is the last line of each card. It is held up by a test in the repository, not by a promise in a README. The deploy token, please. It goes into a file, not into my context. Agents need tokens, and a token must never land in a transcript, a context window, or a log. So the value goes from your keyboard into a file only you can read, and the agent is handed a path to it. It reads it once and deletes it. The file is readable by you and nobody else, and Knock's own log records that a secret was asked for. It has never recorded one. And anything that can interrupt you needs a switch that stops it, or it ends up uninstalled. That is Do Not Disturb. The routine notice you just did not see is in the inbox rather than on your screen. Held is not lost. One level is still allowed through, and you can turn even that off. This one came through anyway, because urgent is allowed to. One change to review before I ship it. Before an agent changes your code, you get to see the change. Green for what arrives, red for what goes, and you approve it or send it back with a note in the same 2 seconds. This one is a request with no timeout, which pinned a worker for 40 minutes on Tuesday. That is the kind of change worth a person's eye, and it is how you stop watching every command an agent runs and start reviewing the 3 that actually matter. Everything so far has been words going back and forth. This one is different. Sometimes the answer is not a sentence at all. It is how much traffic a new build should take, or where a threshold belongs. So the agent writes the control for it, and Knock runs it in a window on your desk. You set it, and the value goes back to the code that was waiting. 40 small moves of a slider arrive as one number, because 40 was never the point. This is the canary decision from a real deploy. How much live traffic the new build should take. Too little proves nothing. Too much, and a bad build reaches everybody. Nobody wants to express that as a sentence in a chat box. There is an agent parked on this window right now, blocked, waiting for somebody to use it. The bar underneath the number says what the number actually means. At 10%, that is 400 requests a minute, and the whole drag comes back as one value rather than 40. Half the traffic and start. That click is what unblocks the deploy, and the agent on the other side of it now has a number it could never have got from a chat box. Agents produce reports, plans, tables, and numbers, and in a terminal you scroll past all of it. This is the report from the release you just approved, in a window built to read it in. A table of what shipped and what it risked. The arithmetic behind that rollout number, set as real mathematics. The pipeline it ran, drawn from the agent's own description of it. A chart of what the week cost in interruptions. And an image reads straight off this disk, because nothing on that page is allowed to touch the network. Then the record. Every interruption is kept, who asked, what for, and how long you took to answer, per agent and per project. That is how you find out which agent is expensive, and turn that one down. And it is the same window that holds the sounds, the quiet hours, and every other switch. A change there applies while you watch, not at the next restart. Everything so far has been the agent knocking on you. This is the same door in the other direction. One hotkey, and a console comes down over whatever you were doing, with a live session already in it. Two things make it worth using instead of opening a terminal. It is already there, with no window to find and no directory to change into. And the session knows it is inside Knock, so when you give it something long and walk away, it knocks. Watch the top of the screen. One key and there it is, centered on the monitor, half its height, with a session waiting. That is a real Claude code session on this machine, and the reply is streaming as it is written. Notice what it says about interrupting me. It was told at startup that it is running inside knock, so it treats a question as something to raise here, and a finished job as something to knock about. And the same key puts it away. Two honest things about where this is. It is in daily use on this machine, and it is still being built, so what you have seen is a working tool rather than a finished product. Three things are coming that change what it can do. Away delivery, so a knock that matters can reach you when you are not at this desk at all. Running whole agent sessions from that panel, not just talking to one. And the same window handling on Wayland, with packages so installing it is one command. Underneath that, the vocabulary keeps growing, more shapes of asking, and a preview of what is queued behind the card you are looking at. Getting it is 4 lines. Bootstrap installs what a fresh machine needs, including a speech engine and a voice. Install puts the binary where your desktop can find it. One more line registers it with Claude code for every project at once. After that, you forget it is there until it knocks. That was a release going out, a job being watched, a secret being handed over, and a diff being approved about 15 interruptions, and not one of them took more than a couple of seconds to deal with. Release 2026.7.3 is live, and nothing needs you. That is the whole idea. Your agents run unattended, and you get pulled in for the decisions that are actually yours. One binary on your own machine and nothing leaves it. Thanks for watching.